Before coming to Amnicon, I kept to myself a lot and hid how I felt. I never felt safe to talk about deep, real things, but Amnicon offered me a safe place for me to have deep conversations, and that really saved me. We just hit Basswood, so yeah, we're just chilling, walking down the trail. Not much yet. Good day paddling so far. What did we hit? Like 2 hours-ish? Something like that.
Hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
So just run the last uphill. Update at dinner. See you then.
My name is Kolby Earhart. I go to Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, and I've been on 6 Amnicon trips.
Sailing the Apostle Islands twice and canoeing once. One to Voyager, one on the Amnicon, and one on the Flambeau River. First trip, first day, I was a brand new freshman. I was like, this canoe trip's gonna be so exciting. We're gonna have so much fun. And first day they mentioned rain gear. Oh, it might sprinkle on us, and then boom, we're getting poured on. We were, sponging boats, bailing it out with sponges, and paddling with our heads down, and just miserable through life. The campsite was wet when we got there, and it was just challenge after challenge. And I think the only thing that really got me through it was just seeing other people continue to do it. Hallie and Sean were our guides that trip, and just seeing those two just be like, well, let's get it done. We got a campsite to set up. I think that just motivated me to just be like, well, I suppose if they're gonna set up camp, it's not worth me sitting around, so I'll help them out. And by the time I even thought about what I was doing, we were done setting up camp. They were definitely my rocks during that trip, because I had never ever done anything like this really before, and they definitely helped fuel the fire of loving Amnicon. It's a place that genuinely drove me to be a better person in my life. That whole "it saved me" conversation. I was going down a very horrible road as a person, just emotionally, socially. I was losing friends. I was driving myself away from people. And coming to Amnicon for the first time, it just forced me to talk about the things that I didn't want to talk about. I had to. It was my turn. So I did. And I realized that took so much weight away from what I was feeling. And, it opened up all the boxes that I needed to open up, and it just drove me to work hard to be a better person and be the loving person that I am now. And with every trip, I just feel that more and more. My relationship with people and the amount of love that I feel there is just something that you can't recreate. I've seen swamps first person, watching people go over, but I think the closest I ever was Bob and I on the last day of the Amnicon. We were taking it so relaxed, and I was laying back on one of the Duluths with my hands kind of in my life vest like this, and I was laying back with my hat over my face and sleeping, and Bob was steering us, and he gets to looking at the fish over the side of the boat, and all of a sudden he's falling asleep, and we go, whoop, and then he right back up, and we did the old teeter-totter back and forth. I grabbed the gunnels like everybody knows you're not supposed to do. And that was I think the closest I've ever been to swamping, was with one of the most experienced people on the trip. You sign up for this trip, you're like, oh, camping in the wilderness, canoeing, Bible study. No, it's a lot more than that, It's helped me learn a lot about God and how he works through different people. Because before, my faith in God was pretty much just Bible driven. Read the Bible, that's a good story of the Bible, now you believe in God. And I never really heard other personal people really talk about it so much as far as tribulations and trials that they've been through. And Amnicon is a great place where people open up about those trials and the difficulties in their life. And that helped me really understand that I'm not really alone. I just have to find somebody who's going through the same thing as me. And that drove me towards my faith in God quite a bit, because he drove me to the right people that had the right things for me. And ultimately, when I started listening to him, when I started listening to the things that the guides or anyone at camp had to say at the campfires, or just, feeling the love of God in that place, really just drove me to being much more of a friendly person and finding my way with God.
All together,
Going great. Got a little crazy. We tried to put all 4 sails up. Did not go so great, but we're gonna try to put the jib up when we take our next turn, and then we'll update from there. So
my favorite trip was probably the canoeing of the Apostle Islands. Being in the boat is something that you don't recreate ever, you know, especially with the 16-person Voyager canoes, singing songs and paddling and stroke. And the first hour of paddling is pretty much just putting your head down and paddling. Experiencing the teamwork is something truly unique, I think. Seeing the island get closer and closer as you paddle, and you get more tired, but you know it's getting closer, and it just helps your mindset just carry it along. And that was my favorite part about that trip, was overcoming the personal barriers. We spent quite a bit of time getting to know people that we didn't know, because it was a fairly diverse group. Not a lot of us had really met each other yet or gotten familiar with each other, so it was a great learning trip, learning about everybody and how they handle certain situations and how they persevere. It was really great to see perseverance through the team and all the canoeing that we did, because the waters are very choppy. Generally, I am much closer with the people that I've been on the Amnicon trips with, simply because they're much more open to me. I find that with those open conversations that we have at Amnicon, explaining each other's trials, explaining each other's challenges, it really helps us connect on the level of, well, we're all going through it, so we might as well help each other. And at home at church, we do have that environment, but I don't feel that it's as strong as what you get when you go to Amnicon and you're out there in the deep wilderness and your mind goes to those places. I think that that's just something special, and the relationships that come out of it are a lot stronger.
I go to sit down, and the entire ship feels over, and I'm just like, oh! Going off the toilet, I'm like, oh my god, the sail. We're all going,
Thank you so much. You guys are so great. You're excellent. You make this possible for anyone and everyone, and while I'm in a very blessed place to be able to afford it and go on these trips and gain these relationships, there's plenty of people who I know that are not able to do that. And just you guys giving the ability to anybody to go on these trips and gain these relationships with people that they might not even have known their name before the trip, and after their shared tearful conversations and all the love that you can give in 5 short days of a trip. And that's just something that can't be replaced. It really can't. I don't know of any other nature camps that are doing it as great as Amnicon, so I appreciate every single thing that you donors do. I appreciate the staff. I appreciate.